store mannequin. She always leaves me breathless and panicking. There's nothing I can do but stay out of sight. With every session, my stomach feeling easy. She says my name and my thoughts get crazy. There's nothing I want more than this tonight. Lips the color of poison dot frog. Eyes the blue of my deepest fantasies. Such craving, scare us away. Sweet like antifreeze. She's got this voice that moves down from the hill, and it descends in 95 and kills. If you know I die for a word from those lips. There is no alignment for other agendas, and we always decided someone to defend us. But it all fixed later, she wiggles those hips. It's the color of the...
Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Big Ugly Jim, and I have my buddy Russ with me today. Russ is a fantastic human being. I'm gonna bring him on camera here. Russ, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
I was born in Regina, Saskatchewan, and then I moved out here to work. That's the beginning.
Excellent. Yeah, well, it's as good a place to start as any. We met a while back. You're really dark. Is there any way we can throw a little bit more light?
Somewhere. See me?
That's a little bit better. A little bit better. Still a little bit dark.
It's not just a silhouette.
We'll make do. I'm just gonna shoot this to my TV. Hopefully, we'll see if that works. Oh, apparently, it's not gonna. We'll see. Anyways, thanks for taking the night or a bit of time tonight to chat with me, man. It's always awesome to. Oh, there you're well lit now. That's awesome.
Figured that would work.
Yeah, good to see you and stuff. I haven't seen you in like in person in since just before Christmassy time.
Yeah, Halloween, I think.
Yeah, Halloween. That was the time. How's things been? Have you been doing well, keeping busy, keeping happy, all that kind of stuff?
I've been keeping busy for sure, and health-wise, I've been kind of declining for the first past 2 years. It's been kind of the weight's been getting heavy with life, and my health hasn't been very great at things. So instead of working all the time, and I'm finding a reoccurrence in health issues with my feet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got to change the way I make my money. I got to change the way I'm going to retire.
Well, the good news is
I started 5 years ago. Yeah. Oh God, it'll be here before you know it. But yeah.
So,
but 7 years ago, I had this idea of just like creating something that's in Canada. That's you don't have to go to the States. You don't have to follow by the regulations in the film, whatever goes on down there. Like I'm still learning so much about that. It's like I knew all the basics, but once I started looking into it, it just like there's a lot to go around.
Oh yeah,
but there's a nice blueprint everyone had made for everyone. Like if we got a genre to pick, we got things and stuff to go with,
Yep, absolutely.
And how have you been?
I've been, it's up and down, right? I mean, the COVID blues are super real. And, that can be pretty fucking draining, honestly. But, the last little while I've been doing all right. I've been playing around with all this ridiculous technology stuff to try and make these yammers cooler and cooler. You don't get the benefit of seeing all of it right now because we've just got like a window on a browser where you and I are, but the technology that I'm leveraging, and I'm not like saying this in like look at me leveraging amazing technology, but just all these bits and pieces. It's a learning curve, and I'm old and I don't learn very well, but it's going all right. It's been an interesting process, let's just say. but yeah, I'm doing good. I'm playing music in my basement. I'm taking on more than I can possibly do, and then going, well, I don't want to have time to do anything.
Yeah, that's how it is. So much
Yeah,
projects. It's like right now, like I'm writing Dutch and I'm writing like the next movie I'm gonna do,
mhm.
which I want if CM Punk would I want to reach out to that guy, Phil Brooks. He just
Yep.
has the face and the mouth, the voice, and everything that I want for this character, and it's like I can make that guy a star. He doesn't have to be a wrestler or anything. It's just
Yep.
he can go into
Speaking of
film like
wrestlers,
anyone.
I'm wearing my Bruiser Brody T-shirt.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. That's an awesome T-shirt.
It made me happy. And actually, I was wearing something. I was wearing a Reagan U shirt earlier, and then I was like, yammering with Russ tonight. I'm putting on some Bruiser Brody. Um, I figured you'd get a certain amount of appreciation for it. So
Oh yeah.
we've mentioned Dutch O'Bannon a couple of times, and I think that as the director of the film, you should give the many millions of viewers a little bit of an update on what is this Dutch O'Bannon that you speak of.
The Dutch O'Bannon, the good old comedy that is going to be coming to be. Hopefully, whenever everything lifts, I want to get everyone together. Like I know right now in the film industry, they're able to start filming now and all that stuff. They get everything, all the stuff that they had written for last year is now starting production again. And I'm
Yep.
thinking like, yeah, where I'm about 90-80% done the script writing. And I just got to just keep reviewing it and trying to shape out the story and bring it out because I really want the comedy to stand out in a way that it's kind of cheesy and yet over the board, yet subtle. I just want it on
Yeah.
this bridge of it's almost like Leslie Nielsen, but I don't know how to describe it. But we got to make it.
That's the thing, right? It's in us. We're excited about it. I have been terrible. I tried to open. Actually, you sent me the script. I tried to open it the other day, and I got errors opening the file. So that's less of me being a dirtbag. But I have definitely. This is one of those projects that I'm like, yes, I totally want to write a movie, and yeah, and then like, ooh, there's a shiny thing over there. So
Yeah.
I've got to, get my ass in gear and start doing the things. But I totally am enamored with the idea. I loved so where this all came from. I'll just sort of explain for our millions and millions of viewers watching. I started growing hair. I've had a shaved head for 25 years or something ridiculous like that. Started growing hair, and then one day when it was just quite short and sort of brushed over to the side, and I was looking at it, I was like, I look like an '80s action cop. I totally look like that, like the all edgy hard ass who's tough on crime but knows how to love. And I was like, that's funny. And somehow that evolved into like that night I took a graphic program and made like a fake movie poster. Dutch O'Bannon, Justice Force. I can't even remember like what the tagline was, but it's like he's got he's a force for justice or something like really stupid. And
Something
I
with
like,
vengeance. I remember. Yeah.
there was vengeance is in there. If I can, you know what? I should. No, I don't. I'm not prepared to like have all the screens up.
Just
I
wing
like
that up
pop
from
it
a
up.
file right away. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool, but I don't think I'm smart enough to do that just today. But yeah, so we, I did this and I was like joking about it, and then you messaged me and you were like, we could make that movie, and I was like,
Yeah.
we could make that movie. Well, damn. And it's sort of
Yeah.
gone from there, which is kind of a hoot.
Yeah. It started from like the cop scene, like I started saying the overweight chief yelling and shouting from a cigar,
Yep,
yelling at
J.
Dutch
Jonah Jameson
O'Bannon and giving
style.
him shit about insurance and whatnot.
God damn it, O'Bannon. You reckless heel, you never listen to the, you know, when the internal affairs tells us what we have to do. And I'm like, you can't control me, boss.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, I don't know what it's gonna be, and hopefully it's gonna be amazing, and we will, I will suddenly become a major media star. You will be a director that everyone knows the name of. Oh, that reminds me, there was something I wanted to say that I knew would annoy you.
Oh yeah.
Indigenous director.
Indigenous director, yeah.
Because
Oh man,
we
like
we
that's
talked
one thing.
about
It's
this.
like it's like
Go
as
ahead.
much as it becomes like what is it, like a title, it's an also an opportunity, because like what I'm noticing, like when I went to that agency today, they were like, "You're Indigenous, we'll take you." You know, it's like there's definitely going to be work out there for you, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, like I don't mind being an extra in a dozen movies. It's like,
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
yeah,
And that's the thing. Um, it's I can actually hear white people being like, "Well, that's not fair. The indigibles have better job access," and they're like, "Fuck off! No, nobody has better job access than honkies. So just shut up." But what
yeah,
the reason I mentioned it was when we were talking the day that we were boxing together in your front yard. Um,
yeah.
I remember you said something about how, you know, we were joking, and you're like, you know, I'll be that guy that's up there, and they'll be like, you know, and our next person is Indigenous director Russ Crew Buffalo, and you'll be like,
Yeah,
which director? Thank you very fucking much. I'm not directing indigenously. I'm directing, and I just thought that
yeah,
was a cool take.
like I just want to be associated. Oh, I want this touching native story. Can you direct that? You know, type thing. It's like my mind is like I don't draw eagles and stuff like that. Like just because like there's so much great artists that do that already, and I tried and it doesn't come out so smooth. So I had to find out what I draw and what I could produce, say, and it wasn't traditional stuff. It was just basic, almost like an Americanized type entertainment is what I really enjoyed. Mindless entertainment, just to get away
Which,
from the
you know,
real world, you know.
yeah, like we need that. We need this all the time. I really enjoy the fact that like the drawings that you share, pardon me, on the Facebooks. Um, I love they have like a space sci-fi, and I know that's not the only thing you draw, but that's like you do a lot of like sort of spacey feeling, science fictiony kind of vibe, and then superhero stuff, and then every now and then you'll throw up a picture you've drawn of like Dutch and the Chief and all that kind of stuff, and it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
you know. But it's definitely like you're absolutely right. You're not drawing, um, you know you know, like, you know, traditional indigenous art, which isn't even traditional indigenous art. It's traditional, like what we think, at least what I think we think is we mostly associate with like Haida art, right? And so
yeah.
from the, you know, Haida Gwaii and BC. But it turns out, for those watching at home, there are more natives than just the one type.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's like dozens.
I
You
would
can't
say
even
probably a lot more than the dozens. Yeah, like it's
like a
it's amazing to me how, and like I'm just as guilty of this because, you know, I was raised in a society that taught me that there is like indigenous people and they all do the following things, and they all have sun dances, and they all draw Haida art, and they all have totem poles, and they all blah blah blah. Everyone hunts buffaloes. Like, it's that was the world that I grew up in, and so, you know, I was too fucking stupid to know any different. Um,
yeah.
it's cool as I'm becoming an old crotchety man, realizing how wrong I was, and realizing just how much like really interesting stuff is not just like indigenous culture or whatever, but just the world around me is so much cooler than I thought. And I've been lucky enough to know quite a few people from a variety of backgrounds, because, you know, I know a lot of honkies. We're pretty much all the same, you know. Um, Meeting people from other backgrounds and getting other experiences and other perspectives is, I think, just really, especially for the privileged honky dudes out there, it's a good thing. You know, you learn to go, hey,
Yeah.
my experience is not everyone's experience. Maybe that's there's lessons in that and shit. Anyways, I'm rambling. That's what I'm yammering.
The yammer, yeah, that's what we're here for.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But yeah, like my grandpa talked to me about like the telegraph trails and like all the rich history that where I grew up in Saskatchewan of all places. You know, I grew up there and it was like nothing to do. That's why like my mind just keeps going.
Yeah.
For entertainment, and it's like you wouldn't think of like all the stuff that went on, like the Batoche War soldiers came through like our reserves and you know tried to pick up allies and stuff like that, eh? And
Mm-hmm.
it's just you hear all that stuff, and I'm trying to think of some stuff that I forgot. You know, like there's a lot of history that I have not even thought of up until this moment. Eh? It's like
Totally.
Saskatchewan is kind of interesting. You know, the Louis Riel when the rebellion was going through there, then the soldiers and RCMP went through there and all that. Like I forget the details. I'd have to dig that up to find the stories that my grandpa used to tell me.
Yeah.
Because what I remember now won't do his stories justice.
No, of course. Just as an aside, there's a live chat feature for YouTube, and there's this. Maybe you've heard of this person. Katie Dick says, "What's up, cutie pies?"
Yeah.
She's not
wrong.
wrong.
The family, the wife.
Yep.
Yeah, they've been doing pretty good. She's been basically the only one working, keeping us going. So I'm lucky for that. While I've been struggling with the online schooling with the kids, it's like, oh.
It's not easy. Like I've got my kids are older. My kids, the two that live with me are 17 and 18. And so online schooling for them is, like they're kind of self-sufficient, although that's not entirely true. They don't do their work and they suck and they'll fail. And one day I'll wind up kicking them out at the age of 30 and they'll be losers. But I'm not saying that out loud. No. Where was I going? But yeah, like it's not easy, and especially like you're a guy who's always worked with your hands and been like in right in the thick of things doing the work, and then now it's like that's great, but be a teacher.
Yeah, definitely got to do something that's not going to kill me anyways.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember when around Halloween when we were talking, your leg I think your leg was just starting to really be uncomfortable, and that was a long journey that came through, and I'm glad to hear you're sort of making some positive strides there, but strides leg, but yeah, you know what I mean, like it's strides. What can I say? I'm pretty darn good at saying obvious shit and finding myself hilarious.
The puns.
Yep. The puns. The
pun king.
Well, I have always been a bit of a pun crock.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just been like it's healing. So I'm still trying to do something to get it so I can be functional again, and just like I want to get back to work and whatever I could do. It's just save some money, get some cash to just buy some equipment so we can practice some fight scenes. Like because there's so much stuff I want to practice. Like we just need a camera, just so we can mess around with some ideas.
You need a camera. I need a camera, and like at least 6 weeks of actually fucking doing something. I'm seriously like I'm super down on myself right now because I've put on fat, which like I'm not a skinny man at the best of times, but I have definitely been like putting on pudge and getting a little gross, and I see it especially right here, which means that when you're yammering, like the lighting is good right now, but I've got that like thing that just like swishes and gulps, and like when I swallow, it's like a frog.
Yeah, I
Driving
got
me
that too.
nuts. But yeah, like
Ever
it's so ever since COVID, right? Our ability, like I have a punching bag in my house, but it's one of those ones that's like a base that you fill with water. And honestly, my house is sketchy as fuck. And if I use that thing, I knock over the whole world, and like everything in my house comes falling off of shelves and stuff. Like it's not an optimal thing. Meanwhile, it's minus fuck off 30 shitty out, and I'm not going for a run. You know, it's the darndest thing.
yeah.
And finding the time is not a thing. So so yeah, for the duration of this whole COVID thing, I have been like doing nothing, like barely even stretching, you know, except for where I'm like,
Oh yeah, it's been a
feel it.
couple of months since I've lifted a dumbbell. It was just so. I just wanted to watch movies, sleep every night, and just be in my pajamas and just crawl to the couch. You know, that was just.
Yep.
I was like, this shit is rare in life, but.
Oh yeah,
Now look at me after through a couple of months of it, you know, and he's starting to feel the jello.
oh yeah, and like that's the thing is I've not had like I am not a like superstar gym boy dude. I don't work out on the regular and get swole and like do things like this all the time and shit. But I'm healthy. I go for walks. Like I walk to and from work, which is like 4 kilometers each way. And then when so we went through the lockdown, and my company that I worked for was very conservative about coming back. They were like, we don't want to rush. We don't want to, we want to be comfortable. And eventually they were like, okay, we're going to come back. And I think it was only about, I was on like 2 days a week that I was in the office. And I think we were only maybe like 3 or 4 weeks of that before the next lockdown came. And we were like, okay, going back home. But in that time, walking to work is no problem because it's all downhill. Walking back from work.
Coming up that hill. I walked up that bridge a couple of times.
Oh,
especially I was working downtown on a skyscraper, and I worked up at 33 stories up. 14 hours later, I'm taking the bus. I got to walk up that damn bridge to get to the bus. So yeah, I was just so gassed at the end of the day.
Oh, and it's exhausting. Oh, Miguel's watching. Miguel is as you know, he is the composer of the Dutch O'Bannon theme song. I see he says, "What's up, kids?" And Katie says, "COVID has definitely changed the game up, and we have had to be as assertive as humans to keep on going in this world." You know what? You're absolutely right, Katie. Miguel, we're doing great. We're glad you're here.
Yeah,
I can say that. Yeah, I can say that. COVID has changed who I am in a lot of ways, and some of them are in really good ways, and some of them not so much. I definitely am drinking more than I did before COVID started. Like I never drank in my house. I would always go to gigs and have a beer or whatever. But now I'm like, hey, it's 9 o'clock at night.
Might as well.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how COVID did for me. Like before all this, like I didn't rarely drink.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe for about 3 years, I was doing pretty good. But then as soon as the thing hit, I was just starting to like, I'm home almost every day is almost blending in.
Yeah.
So it just started to hell, even at freaking 10 in the morning, I start pouring myself a cup.
It's the easiest thing. There's been days where like if I'm working from home, I'm obviously not going to be like, oh well, I should probably drink a whole lot of liquor right now because I'm at work.
Yeah, no, don't get hammered. Well,
yeah, but when I'm not at work, like on a Saturday or something, and 9 in the morning hits, and because I'm an insane workaholic apparently, like I'm still waking up at 6 in the morning. So I wake up, so I'm up for 4 hours, and I'm like, what to do? Drinking. That's an idea.
Yeah.
And it's a terrible idea, and I don't do it, but it's like it's hard, right? I'm just gonna quickly type a reply here. Hi, Miguel. I are good to see my dude. And for Katie, I'm just going to say, you strike me as a person who was always assertive. Damn if COVID didn't just give you the chance to shine. And CT, talk about your comics soon. CT, I'm assuming we're talking about CT from what fucking band is that? CT, what's your band's name? You're from Edmonton, and I know you, and I've booked you, and I should know this, but I'm clearly not smart. Unless it's a different CT, in which case, hi. But yeah, you should talk about your comics.
Yeah, like I got a whole, like if these become films, we got 22 years of material. That's how much stuff I'm sitting on. That's why I want to make this movie, to get like my name kind of known, so people say, you want $12 million to make this movie? Here's $12 million. We seen your work, just
Yep.
we seen your stuff. We know what you're doing. So yeah,
Totally,
I was
totally.
like going through, like, ever since those 7 years, I started creating stuff, and I started out with a Western.
Right on. I did not know that, actually.
And a native kind of a type mythical, powerful type trilogy story that creates the first city that's kind of like the big buildings are made out of floating stone and stuff like that. Like, there's Italic, then there's Western Tales, my Western. That's going to be kind of like I want to say steampunk, but the technology is going to be a little more smoother than that.
Interesting.
But it's just called Western Tales, and it's like, for this whole world is called Gaia instead of Earth, So
yeah, I was just gonna say, like, that's as in Gaia, like the Earth goddess of was it Greek Earth goddess?
The what?
Gaia is Greek Earth goddess. I can't remember. I know it's an Earth goddess. That's pretty much all I have here.
Yeah, it's like the planet or something. Well, I don't know what it. Got to look that up earlier. But yeah, my version is, it's just that's what we call Earth.
Oh, I'm doing dumb things here. I decided I want to go for a smoke, so I've got my cell phone set up so that I can swap it with my other one. But now, if I do that right now, it will just make horrible.
You got an extra screen.
Noises. I got plans. I don't have an extra screen. It's all being run off of the computer. Where the fuck is my thing? Okay, this I can do. This I'm good at. Okay.
But yeah, then after that, I got like a manga called Nuke Nation. That's going to be an awesome thing.
Right on.
It's kind of these people go into a different dimension in between everything, and they just become the forces that are gravity and electricity, but it becomes more of a metaphorical stance, or metaphorical kind of type of storytelling. Like the diviner, he's like a character that represents gravity, so all his powers are going to have like this push of force that nobody can see, and he's going to be able to fly, jump, be super strong type of guy. And there's going to be a group of them, and that's going to be an interesting little thing. That I want to be a manga, and I want somebody else to do that, but I got the skeleton and the story to fit in this world, so I wouldn't mind to like work with different artists out there to like, hey, do you want, if you're sitting on brain, they got this talent but they don't know what to do with it. It's like, here's a story, bring this to life, and your style, just here's the skeleton, and All right. So with after the manga, I want 3 of those to be done, and I want a spy from the 1960s. That is a dry bone idea right now, if somebody ever wants to take that over. And Ender Straight Society, which is going to be my second movie after Dutch O'Bannon that I want to make with CM Punk or Phil Brooks. And I wouldn't mind to just make it on a low budget, and I'd want to make it in Regina. And I'd kind of, that's what I'm working on right now. Hello? I can't hear you. I can hear you talking. I still can't hear you. I can hear you. Yeah. Is there feedback? Technology. I hear you.
You hear me now?
Yep.
Excellent. And we don't have any weird feedback happening?
Nope. Nothing.
Excellent. I knew I could find a way to still smoke.
That's why I'm in my office area. You know, I plugged everything up, just smoke away.
Yeah. I don't smoke in my house. I'm just not a fan of this, like when you walk into a house and like, you know, it smells like smoke. And I've got 2 teenage sons, both of whom smoke. So I just know I like leave the house and I come in and just be that wall of like, oh. So your place isn't like that. I've been there and it doesn't have that powerful presence.
It's very what do you call it? It's very isolated and very, let's just say it's breezy.
Yes. My house is definitely breezy. Especially this time of year. And it's funny because like my room is upstairs and it's cold. My eldest son's room is downstairs and it's super fucking cold. And then my other son's room is upstairs and it's ridiculously hot all the time. And it's not a matter of like, yeah, and it's not a matter of like, you know, maybe if I do this or that with the vents or whatever, like there's no winning. It just all comes pouring out his room and the bathroom, which is right beside his room. So he's dying of heat because we've got the heat cranked so the kid in the basement doesn't die.
Yeah, wait till he wakes up in the morning.
Mm-hmm. And I get it because I used to live in his room. I used to live in this house once upon a time with other friends of mine, like a decade ago. And I lived in the basement, and oh my God, like, and you get used to it. You get to the point where you're like, oh, okay, this is no big deal. And then I had a girlfriend who spent the night. The first time she spent the night, she was like, what the fuck is wrong with your house?
You live like this?
Yeah, like an animal. I think my feed might have just frozen on you, but I'm still able to hear you, so we're still good. And have a feeling like it's probably fine on the YouTubes as well.
The good old tubes. All right.
So the next movie, after we clearly make the greatest film of all time, Dutch O'Bannon, Justice Force.
Oh yeah, launch all our careers.
Absolutely. I mean, I have had bit parts in some music videos a time or two, but this will be my first foray into major motion pictures.
Yeah, into the next. Oh yeah, I saw you in that music video. How was that? I like that.
It was fun. It was definitely depending on which video, which one are we talking about?
The one with Mark Russell, and I forget the song there.
The newest one, the Strong Bear. Yeah,
the what?
It's
Divided by a Negative is the name of the song. It's by the band The Grinning Barretts. And yeah, that was super fun. And it was very like, Pat messaged me and was like, hey, do you want to do like a voiceover thing, like a rant for a couple, 30 seconds? And he sent me the file and I was like, yeah, I could do that. And like a week later, I was sending him the output and like video files and shit. And it was like, wow, and it was out like a few days after that. So it was really cool.
Freak yeah. Yeah, it was definitely cool. I was watching those. Usually I just listen to them and just enjoy it. It's like, wow, the people local that are making these and the community's strong. It's like, this is definitely a place.
I'm gonna have to shut my phone off because it's frozen. So
Yeah.
I'll be 1 sec.
No problem. And after Straight Society is Chrome. Chrome is going to be like this big mutated guy. Like he's going to have this heartbreaking story from the get-go, and he's going to be like my Jason, but turned into a superhero, put into this different world, this bigger city. And yeah, it's going to be just hopefully a good seller, because this one specific hero, Chrome, has at least 8 stories out there. He has the most out of everything that I've written, pretty much. Like the most sequels,
Excellent.
the most changes.
Excellent. I don't think I'm going to go for another smoke. Did not go well. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Seemed like a good idea. I had this whole theory of how it was going to work, and I don't think it worked that way.
I know modern technology. People say, "Oh, it'll be easy. Just sign up."
Yeah,
sign up, and I'm like, right? Something went wrong. That's impossible. It's like, well, the impossible has happened with me.
Yeah, I work in computers like by day, and what I have learned is that something impossible always happens.
Yeah. We still got glitches in our technology, but we're getting there.
So I see there's a comment here from Katie that says Scout Lady Bryce. I'm not 100% sure what that exactly means. And then
I already mentioned that that's like a dry idea right now. It's like the skeleton's there. It's like she's a secret agent woman in the 60s of this different world, and she's,
Excellent. And CT says, talk about your comics, Russ, the universe you created if you can. So I don't know if in the time where I had no earphone in and couldn't hear what I was doing and was making feedback, if that was something you talked about, but I would love to hear about it, because I've seen some of the stuff and we've talked a little bit about it, but I think it's fascinating.
Yeah. There's lots. There's like at least 14 different stories to tell. Like I'm already at Chrome, so then I got to look at the skit thing there. Then there's Mr. Markable, who is like this scientist who creates anti-gravity on our planet. He's able to gather energy from not our sun, but from a black hole in the story, and he's able to create the plasma blast or something. Like, I don't know, Tom DeLonge and I'm talked about it, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe I'll just throw that shit in my story. I don't know how accurate it is, but get the story done, have fun with stuff, bend the truth. It's fantasy.
The truth is out there, and it's pliant, and we can have a pile of fun with it. Like that, that's the thing, is no one's looking at comic books and being, generally no one's looking at comic books and being like, this better be scientifically accurate or it's your ass. Thankfully, because that would be, grossly annoying. It's I've been, like I said, I've been to your house and I've seen the walls and walls of art. And you've told me some of the stories and the interrelatedness, and universe is exactly the right word for it.
Yeah. I try to make them really diverse. Like I want these movies to be so different from each other that there's going to be like, they're going to be their own thing, you know? Then at the end, you'll see like an advertisement in the background that you'll see in another story. It's the same city, kind of type of city, but different stories. Just,
cool.
It's going to be like a whole thing, and there's going to be this giant alien living on our moon who engineered us.
Okay.
And then he sees that he sends these two angels that he invented. They're the human form. And then when Chrome kills one, that pisses off this alien, and he's like, well, I got to restart humanity. I'm going to go erase them. So how we got salt in our sea is this alien gets this little pill and it grows. And then when he touches the ocean with it, it turns into this big solid salt dragon thing.
Okay.
And it just starts, start attacking and eating cities. But yeah, that's, try not to give away too much from the comic 100-page graphic novel I'm currently working on too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I love that about you. You are such a remarkably creative person, and you sort of always have irons in the fire for different parts of your creativity that you're wanting to work on and share. And I just think that's ridiculously cool. I don't.
Yeah, it's like,
I like to think I have that, but I mean, mostly these days I'm just tired single dad dude, and if I'm writing, it's like bullshit on Facebook, me going like, let me tell you what's wrong with the world. Gosh darn it.
yeah.
Like I fucking know.
Yeah, there's always something wrong, as I find out. Now, as the older you get, it's more like, something's gonna bug you.
I'm kind of looking forward to the day where like I don't have anything that pisses me off. I'm gonna wake up one day and just be like, things are okay today. I don't know how to handle this.
I read about an article. They said you're not truly happy from when you're 21 to like 61, and then you return to that whateverness. I don't know if that's true or not, but I read that years ago.
It reminds me of a thing that I heard a long time back, and it was and it's strange because so where I came about this particular conversation was I was at church with my parents, which I am not a religious fellow. My parents are, and cool. But and I don't remember if my mom was singing in the choir or something like that, but I was at church with them. And the minister was talking about the word happy and happiness and the concept of it. And I am not extolling the virtues of the Christian faith when we say this, but he was talking about how the word for happy had been originally translated, and the original word intention was blessed. So we say, blessed are this, blessed, all that. But when it talks about oh yeah, you'll be happy, what it means is you'll be blessed. And his whole argument was that we kind of get set up for a fail on that because we keep reading this wonderful book that's supposed to inform all of our life's decisions, and it talks about happy, 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 but we're not, as people, we're not meant to be happy all the time. The world is a harsh, brutal bitch of a mistress, and sometimes it sucks. And
yeah.
I liked that. I liked the concept that we're not always gonna be happy, and sometimes things are gonna suck. I don't really like the blessed by God thing because I'm an atheist.
Yeah,
and
it's like the most hardest days out of 7 days of our life. We only enjoy the 2.
Absolutely,
Saturday
and
Sunday.
as a violent leftist anarchist prick that I am also, that drives me nuts because it's like we have so much that we could be doing. And yourself, you've got the time right now, and you're putting the effort into and movies and all the things, but 99 times out of 100, when we're left to our own devices, we're just fucking tired. And, you know,
Yeah.
if we're working full time and raising kids and all this shit, and, you know, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, I just hand away. And I don't see the riches. I don't see
like this summer, I wanted to really work on Dutch, but damn, I was working 18-hour days.
Oh, totally.
I was like,
totally.
damn, I was like, fuck, I got no time at home at all. I'm just road.
Yeah.
And
I think,
as much as I
there-
enjoyed it, it was a pretty damn good. It was a good job, actually. I got no complaints. Even the long hours, like, was somewhat enjoyable. You know, just driving out to Canmore like every day, it was just fun.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, especially like the country drive and stuff is, it's a real head clearing experience, right? When you're driving in the middle of nowhere and it's pretty and there's, you know, nature on all your, you know, sides and stuff. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And you sent me some pictures from where you were working, and like it looked like you were working in some pretty, you know, gorgeous country. But you know, it's still, at the end of the day, this is my fucking, you know, 8 hours a day that I'm giving away, or in your case, at the time, like 76 hours a day that you're giving away, and you know, it wears on you.
Yeah, makes you tired at the end of the day, and you had no time to write or even think creatively. It was just your brain just shuts down as you try to spark that. You're gone.
Yeah. And I found
nothing you can do about it.
Oh yeah, totally. I found with COVID, the thing that really sort of frustrated the shit out of me was everyone's making sourdough breads, and they're accomplishing all these cool crafting things, and it's because a lot of those people, you know, lost their jobs, and that was terrible, and they were like doing things just to get through. But in my mind, I was like, you know, well, what are you doing, stupid? You're not making sourdough bread. You're just, you know, you work, and then you parent, and you try to, you know, help out where you can, and you're also in like 86 bands that you don't know the future of, but some of them are still like making music remotely. And, you know, what have you done with your time? And you know, it's just it's that inner monologue bullshit that just like eats away at you, and like no matter what, we're never good enough. At least I'm not.
Like making all these movies and these ideas, it's like, what if the first 2 movies flop and then you become in the hole? And it's like, holy crap. But you know, it's like, it's been a drive since I was like creating music in my teens. You know, I was like, I want to make my own music videos. I see what my music's telling me, you know, like as basic and loud as it was, I also had a vision like how we should present ourselves on stage, me and my brother, and it was always like I wanted to visually present ourselves. It's like, we're going to try to put ourselves on each end of the stage, and we're going to make a play between us. Each song is going to have like a different play.
Right on.
We're going to have jobs for actors, carpenters. We're going to me, my biggest goal with everything is to create jobs for artists and everyone out there, you know, like.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people unemployed, or just people who are just sitting there waiting to do something. And I want to give people the opportunity to do things, like artists, other directors. Like I want them to take over everything that I've created. It's like, take a shot at it, create it. I just want to see what you're doing, you know?
Oh, totally. And I
make
think
sure the story is going to be honest or true to the connection of the world.
And I think that's the cool thing about creative work, right? Is that no matter what we're doing, we're always doing something that's bigger than ourselves, and that extends to, you know, other people, right? So as a musician, not even just like that I have other people that I, you know, play in a band with, but, you know, if I want to record, I'm going to somebody who has a studio. If I want to, you know, book shows, I'm bringing business to a venue. If I want to put out an album, well, you know, I'm you know, paying for someone to produce the album. I want to like, and like, no matter what the creative endeavor, you wind up your passion spills over into other people's lives and enriches them. And I think that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. It's absolutely something that's, I don't know. Every human has their powerful gift and then their flaws, but I really don't like looking at people's flaws. I like looking at their strengths and seeing what they could.
Hey, all I have is flaws. You don't want to look at me?
We're staring.
Yeah.
So
well, and I think that like the interesting truth of my life is that I'm kidding when I say I've got nothing but flaws, but I have a lot of flaws that are, I think, charming as all fuck. And it's the beauty's in the eye of the beholder thing. I think there's something to that too. So, just to see someone's flaws and be able to appreciate them for what they are.
Like, I think I'm like, what held me back from a few things was like when I had good opportunities in life, it was just like, maybe I'm not the personality to be deserving to be famous, be in front of the camera, but
Yep.
I don't think I can be that guy with the face on the camera. I got to be look at it. I made all that stuff. I made like a little set, but I'm very, what is that called? I just like flashiness, stage set stuff. And then this is why I want to be a director, is because I just want to create a set, put actors in it, and then I get to record it, and then they get to do what I have intended for the story, and it's going to be that's what I feel it would be fun, just to tell the stories that I want.
Yeah, it's that bird's eye view also, like when you construct the stage, you construct the scene, you construct the shot, and then when it happens and you get to look at it and be like, that was the thing that was in my head. That's so cool.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as I get it down, like I can't do it like as much as there was a time when I was younger, I was like, I want to be my star. I want to direct my own movies. I want to be this and that. Then I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not good in front of the camera.
and like there's a balance there of like not beating ourselves up, but also being just aware of our strengths and our interests, right? Like I'm not an amazing musician. As you know, I've been playing music for forever, but I'm not going to be changing the way people interact with sound or anything crazy like that. I'm just a guy that goes out and puts on a fun show. And it bugged me for a while when I was in that sort of the middle years of my being a musician, where I was like, I should be better than I am. And I worked sporadically, worked hard at being better, and then would go through the same waves. It's kind of like losing weight, where you're like, I'm gonna join the gym and I'm gonna be awesome, and you go to the gym for like a whole fucking week, and then you're like, maybe my couch is awesome, and then 3 months later you're like, I'm the worst and I should go to the gym. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the gym. And the cycle begins anew.
That's how it goes, though, eh? Like what the guy that plays, who will be acting as Dayton Malone.
Yep.
David, he's going to be the stunt coordinator, and also, like, when I first met him, he started taking me to the gym, and holy moly, man, like, I was so gassed, and he wanted to take me 3 times a week. I was like, okay, I'll try it. I did it for about almost a month, and then I was like, oh man, I'm so tired. I can't even think when I go home. Because they train hard, like they just go like 45 minutes. Seems like you're killing yourself. You're always punching, you're always jumping, you're always doing tippy things with your feet, and it's insane.
And what when I started boxing, because I'd done like Taekwondo for years, and then I had a buddy who was boxing at this club in Bonas, and he was like, "You should come with." And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds cool." And so I went, and what I found that was really fucking frustrating, everybody at that club was good, and I was not. And so I remember there was a point where he was like an assistant coach in the ring, and I'm sparring with this guy, and like he's way out of my class range. Like I'm like like a rock'em sock'em robot, and he's easily blocking everything and throwing, but he's not hurting me. He's just like oh, keep your guard up.
Giving
And
you
like,
like little taps on the side of the head.
exactly right. And I managed to get a solid clock in on him. And he dropped his guard and he's like, keep going. And he's like super excited about it. So I'm just drilling him as hard as I can in the face over and over again. And I'm like, "Ugh." And like, he's the whole time, he's like, you're doing great. This is so much fun for you, isn't it? And I was like, what the fuck does it take for me to actually hurt you? Like, and I literally, because I'm a comedian, I like stopped and I looked at the person beside the ring and I was like, do you have a shovel? Because like I couldn't possibly. I'm hitting this guy as hard as I fucking can, and I'm no slouch. And he's just like, keep going, this is great. Fuck you, man. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's like what could you do when you defend yourself?
Yeah, I got nothing. I'm just gonna try and go limp.
Scream.
Another time. So my buddy that was running, he wasn't running the club, but he was the reason that I joined the club. He now runs his own boxing club. But at the time, he was like semi, like he was getting back into it, but he'd been a really solid boxer. So he and I are sparring, my first time ever. And you have to understand, I was a lot fatter and a lot slower and a lot like, I just wasn't in great shape. I was trying. And so, the boxer thing, my hands are up and then they start to come down. And I don't know that they're coming down, but they're just really heavy.
Yeah, they get
And
heavy.
he's like, raise up your hands. I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. And the third time I did it, he throws a right hook, catches me in the jaw. And I had that thing where they say you had your bell rung. And literally my experience with it was sitting there. And in my head, I was like, there's something I should be doing. And then I kind of focused forward. And in super slow motion, he's coming in like, and I was like, right, yeah. And it literally, in that brief moment, I'm in a boxing ring, having just got clocked, and I'm like, there's something I should be doing.
Yeah, that's how David was. If my thing came down, he'd give you that quick little slap to the face. Boof! Oh shit! Mm-hmm. Then after, once you lift up your hand, you'll give another whack, and then you'll see, it's blocked.
Oh yeah, when I was learning to play football, the guy that was the offensive lineman, I was defensive line. He's like, okay, put your hands up like this and do this with your hand, like, okay, cool. And I go to do that, and the next play, he just, knocks my hands out of the way and runs through me. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? And he's like, I'm not gonna give you the answer. You motherfucker.
Shit. Getting rocked over. It's always fun.
Oh, many's the time where I've eaten somebody else's beaten.
So who's going to be a stunt double?
Well, let's see. They have to be extraordinarily me looking. They have to be fat and have this dumb haircut. I think I'm doing my own stunts, buddy. I'll try and not get broken.
Like after a conversation with a very intelligent somebody who knows film stuff, was filling me in on everything, and it was just, she's like, do everything in green screen. Then you can just hire all these like computer guys and they'll make your movie for you. We don't have to go to different locations. And just for, I think, doing the car chase, I kind of want to do some real shots. I want to get like an old gas Crown Victoria, whatever we're gonna get
Yeah.
for Carf 153.
Yeah. I also think that there are certain scenes where being in the scene as the actor would make a difference. Like I think I'm not going to give anything away, but the scenes where we've talked about the church, I think you could green screen that, but I think in that circumstance, as the actor, it's like being immersed in that will be beneficial to the shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I really want to talk to that church that I've been looking at. Like, I really want to send them a message because it's so tiny and it's just right off of McLeod Trail. And I'm like, I can build a small, tiny version in that and even talk to Don about it. We can build a little miniature version and go explode it.
Yep.
I would love that. And I would love to shoot inside that church, the final fight scene,
Totally. And I think like that's where you have that moment where the green screen just doesn't do it. Like being in that church will add something to our experience as the actors, and like it'll be a whole different thing. The rest of the time, yeah, fuck a green screen. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like if we're in a the police station, and the police station is a green room full of like people who are not wearing green. All right, that's cool. I don't need drab in order to be like, how do I police again?
Yeah. How to make the cops look in the 80s in Calgary too. I want to make it specifically in Calgary. So I want to digitize like the 1980s type of city, how it looked back then.
You've seen the movie Nightbreed, right?
Nightbreed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a classic Clive Barker. Yeah. That is, it's just come on Shudder again, and I watched it the other night. One of the things I love about that movie, and always loved about that movie, is it's set in Calgary, and they actually call it Calgary. They don't try and pretend like, oh, we're in place in USA. It's like
like Steven Seagal movie.
Yeah. And like there's a scene where there's a Flames game playing, and as a old time Calgarian, I can hear Ed Whalen talking about like Lube to the point and shoots, he scores, and I'm like, that's fucking Ed Whalen, oh my god. And it's all shot in Calgary, and they don't fucking lie about it. Like there's a movie called Rad that was a BMX movie that was filmed here. It was filmed in Airdrie actually, when I was in like I think junior high or high school or something, and a lot of the kids got extra roles in the movie, and they keep referring to the fucking place as being in Airdrie, USA. Like, fuck off.
Airdrie, USA,
yeah. And I'm sure there is an Airdrie in the USA, but it's like just give us this one little fucking thing.
Yeah, just give Canada's kudos.
Right? Instead of like putting us in that spot where we're like, oh no, that was shot in Canada, and they're like, sure it was there, buddy.
Whereas people in Texas, that's probably in Wyoming.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Or Montana.
Y'all don't talk like no Canadians. I was in a bar in Denver, which is like, I mean, it's an hour flight south. It's not even far away. I'm in this bar.
Yeah.
And I'm going to order a beer, and it's like goth bar. So all these people are like, covered in the white cake makeup and like studded collars and shit and black dyed hair and all that. Like just fucking awesome. I'm there for an IT conference, and I'm going to the goth bar. All right. And I'm in line, and I bump into this girl, and I look at her. I'm like, sorry. And she goes, what? And I go, I'm sorry. And she goes, say that again. And I go, I'm sorry? She's like, oh my God, where are you from? Oh my God, I love your accent. I'm like, what fucking accent? I'm an hour flight north. What accent? You sound like me. And she's like, it's pronounced sorry, not sorry. And apparently, she clocked me as a foreigner in that moment. And I was like, well, fine. So I made her take me around to museums and shit. That actually worked out.
Should have said you were from Sweden.
I'm from Sweden. Do you enjoy crumpets? I don't know what the fuck Swedish people eat besides like the Swedish chef. I could have run with it for sure.
Oh yeah. I once walked into Canadian Tire this past year, and the cashier said, "Oh my God, did anyone ever said you look like Maui?" And then I was like, "Oh, who's Maui?" I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Then she's like Moana or something, like the guy, the fucking Hawaiian god there.
Well, I've often thought, like you do look like a Polynesian volcano god who wants to eat the souls of the good.
Yeah.
So we have
Just
some
need my
more
hook
comments
and my
here.
powers.
CT says that's good. Haha. Can you show some of your comic work for potential fans? And Sugar Shameless, who is my friend Sugar Ray, I'm sure you know Sugar Ray, says, I want to see this movie. You're right. You do want to see this movie. It's going to be legendary. Have any? Yes. Do you have any comic stuff that nothing that'll give away the spiel, but like show off some of the work? I'll even give you like the full screen view, so it's not. I'm not eating up all the space.
Right.
Well,
There has to be something here.
Can you turn your phone sideways? You're on your phone or are you on your laptop?
What's that?
Are you on your phone or your laptop?
Phone.
If you turn it sideways, it'll probably be. I guess it doesn't really make a difference, but yeah. And why is it not updating? Don't even worry about it. It's not
art.
It's not figuring out your landscape. It's not figuring out that your landscape, so it's just like
some of the panels. Is that bright enough?
It is, but you may as well turn your camera the right way around because it's not doing the thing that it's supposed to do. There we go. Can we get a little bit when we move it closer to the? No, we're still not. It's a little dark. That's all. But then,
yeah, this is
artwork, sir. I'm just kidding. Your content is a little bit dark too.
Yeah, I'll show a more detailed panel from the comic that I'm working on.
And Kareen, I'm gonna guess it's Kareen Tarengo says hello. It's Kareen.
Who?
Kareen Tarengo, and I'm probably ruining the last name, and I'm very sorry, Kareen. I don't know the name either, so one of us knows Kareen and probably just doesn't know we know Kareen.
Yeah, somewhere there. I just can't see anything but me and you.
Well, yeah, no, I'm reading the comments on the YouTubes.
I'm trying to find a cool panel to show everyone, at least one panel. Then I'll show you guys the city of Temple City, where 5 of my stories are going to happen.
Excellent.
And whoever wants to join me on this journey, any artists out there who wants to make comics, this is Amperage. Maybe I'll turn this way.
There you go. That immediately brightened it right up.
And he's getting his hand cut off from Chrome.
See, and I'm no expert on comics, but I feel strongly that cutting people's hands off is not something that you want your heroes doing. I'm assuming Chrome is not a nice man.
No, he's Jason Voorhees if he were killing the bad guys.
So he's like an anti-hero kind of character.
Yeah, people can shoot him, stab him. He's still gonna come at you. And his enemy is gonna be a fallen angel who has her wings singed and her skin burnt, and she's gonna have like superhuman strength. So he's gonna have his hands filled with her.
I can relate to that because you can shoot me and you can stab me. Only the difference is that I will be dead and I will not. Right? But up until that point, it's exactly the same. Exactly the same.
Yeah. So here's the city.
Let me make that as, I guess that's as big a view as I can do. That is gorgeous, though. I love that.
Yeah, these are floating buildings here.
Yeah.
And there's this power laser that's going to be related to Talik in my negative story. He's going to be the creator of the city. Like, these are those 5. There's going to be 6 pillars of big buildings, and they're going to be powered by, well, Talik.
Cool.
So his story's going to, all the stories are going to be tragic and dark, but they're going to be, keep fighting for what you love,
And I think we're in a place as a society where that's what stories are now. Like, I don't really give a fuck about, like, I've never been a big Superman fan, and it's because Superman just has everything fucking easy. He's got like incredible god powers, and he just gets to wear that like 1950s shit-eating grin and be like, "Hey everyone, do good things." And
yeah,
compare that to the characters in comic books that I actually like admire and love, like Punisher. But when I say that, I'm not like, go cops. Cops, anyone who has like a cop who has the Punisher logo has never read the fucking Punisher. I don't get that shit. But like the Punisher and Wolverine and Deadpool and like and those are like the big ones, but like the characters in 100 Bullets and stuff are, I'm a big fan of that anti-hero concept of someone who you can't help but like them and want them to succeed in their quest, but at the same time, yeah, they're evil, and you're like, you have that balance of like, I really like that you're just the worst person ever.
yeah.
So,
it's like,
just so you know,
my other story,
Kareem,
the fucking cunt. It's a team of the underground of that city I just showed you. Like, we get to go into the alleys and the sewers and the underground of just the gangs and all that stuff in this world.
Yep.
And it's going to be like this group of misfits. We're going to have a leader who gets her team killed every time she was in a war battle. She's just like, all right, let's just charge and shoot.
Leroy Jenkins!
And she's going to be called Captain Ballistic, and she's going to have like PTSD of all her fucking teammates dying. She's going to be like having like this flashbacks of like when someone so died.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a ninja who's clumsy and loud. We're going to have a giant who falls apart.
I could play the clumsy loud ninja if this goes to film.
Yeah. And we're going to have a smart scientist who builds faulty weapons. It's just going to be like this underground, in your mouth, punk type. Everything against what a hero should be. These people will end up being.
Excellent. That sounds fantastic, man. That, by the way, Kareen commented in the chat and said she's from Regina, Saskatchewan, and CT says you're super unique, your own story, and absolutely your own story. I love the way your brain works, man.
No, it's always going.
Yep. And there's
like
a lot of people that like, when your brain's always going and they're just sort of miserable about it. And you're, I think, like me, your brain's always going. You're like, I need to write this shit down. I'm going to keep ahead of this. And
exactly. It's like, I'm sitting there having coffee in the morning. It's quiet as all hell. Then all of a sudden this fire breaks out in my head. And then all of a sudden I see the superhero landing. I'm like, okay, I think I can work with that. But who should I put there?
Yep.
And then I started drawing. Like, I written my own Star Wars movies when I was in high school.
Yep.
Like, after the prequels came out, I was like, if I always wanted to be a director, so I was planning to get my.
I was expecting you to say after the prequels came out. I was like, well, if these count as movies, I sure as shit can write one. Sorry, not a big Jar Jar guy.
Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar Misa gonna do like, oh. Not my favorite character.
I don't think nobody loved it when they saw
But
it.
it's funny because like everyone watched the Phantom Menace and they were pissed off. They're like, expecting that they were going to be in some way moved by this brand new story. And I'm like, it's a fucking prequel. As soon as the guy said, "Oh, I'm Anakin Skywalker," oh, I know what happens with you. You're gonna be evil. And like, what the fuck do you expect out of a prequel, people? Like, I watched it. That's not the shit that bugged me. The shit that bugged me was Lucas's total racist caricatures of like his aliens are all based on. And I'm not saying anything new, and I'm sure you know this, but his aliens are all based on like terrible racist caricatures. Right?
Exactly.
And
that's impossible.
Yeah. Because and like like the creepy senator aliens in the Phantom Menace, I think, and they're like they may as well be like the archetypal evil Japanese businessman. Like it's
they
just
got the suits, the futuristic suits.
He's so transparent. Like Yoda, even if you translate Yoda word for word, it's like grammatically correct Japanese. Like, oh, I wonder if he's supposed to be the wizened Japanese ninja master. Which is funny because, like, of course, Lucasfilm is in the news right now because of the firing of what's her face from that show I haven't seen yet.
Gina something.
Yeah, Gina Carano, or I don't know what the fuck her name is, but like,
I don't know.
I
didn't pay much attention to it. I'm like, oh, she got fired, but it's a contract. Like if you're agreeing to something, then you got to do it. It's just it sucks.
Like, if you're working for a company and you're very public and you are doing things that put some concern in the company's mind about their profit, that company's going to fire you, right? Like if my company, if I was parading around the name of the company that I work for and saying the shit that I say on Facebook, I guarantee you they'd be like, either you need to stop or you need to leave, because I'm an asshole and I'm good with that. I'm happy to be an asshole. I feel like Gina and I would not be philosophically the same, but we're both assholes in our own respective ways, right? I'm a crazy leftist asshole. She's a ridiculous, maybe Nazis weren't so terrible asshole. But if I'm Disney, either one of us, I'd be like, you need to fucking go. Like, why did I? And I'm
that's what's
saying this to the guy who's directing the movie that I'm going to be starring in as Dacho Ben in Justice Force. But, we're not big time yet, so I can get away with whatever the fuck I want. And then by the time that movie comes out and we're rich and powerful, then they'll be like, oh yeah, that's Jim. He's a leftist agitator, but what a character and so much charisma on the screen. That's
gotta sell that face.
Yeah.
Make $1 million. Be living in Springbank.
$30, but yeah, I feel like there's a truth that there is a market for this face. I just feel like it's a very small, very weird market.
That's exactly why I'm like trying to make this stuff that we're going to be making. I want it to be under me. Like I thought about selling a few of the things to studios to give us money and to make our stuff, to give us money and the budgets we need, which I think for this movie, I think we need about at least $100,000. I was like, to get everything right, I think that's how much I need.
I feel like we can trim some of that though, right? Like, we can make our own green screens, with a tryptophanese fabrics kind of thing. There's things we can do, and we know some remarkably talented people who will happily help us. For some compensation after the fact, assuming there is any. But like Dongo, for example, has said, let me help you all some designing and building some of the props and things. I feel like we could be those filmmakers. Like Robert Rodriguez when he made was it El Mariachi that he made first? And it was literally like on a shoestring budget, and he made this film, and it was good enough that Disney was like, "We need to talk, sir." You know,
Yeah.
that's gonna be us.
Yeah,
We're gonna
exactly.
be famous.
That's what places need, is like creativity and trying to cut down every single dollar that they can. You know, it's like that's what impresses the big shots. They're like, save us money, make us money, and we'll give you everything you need, you know. Like I just want to make everything independent. Like with the comics, I want to print it on hemp paper instead of regular paper. And I want to give the hemp farms like all that business, you know, like I want to create a demand for those kind of types of farms out there. And I'm pretty sure there's like a lot of wetlands in Saskatchewan that could harvest that stuff.
Oh yeah, guaranteed, guaranteed. I know we can grow it in BC, but they're too busy growing the female of the plant instead of the male. But yeah, like I'm sure Saskatchewan, probably Manitoba also, right? You know, they've got a
Yeah.
warm, wet summer. I'm sure they're able to grow good quality hemp. I mean, like hemp is a pretty fucking versatile plant. It's just gonna be like, plant me somewhere, man. I'll grow.
Yeah. Remember throwing these plants around this where I grew up, my grandpa's house in Daystar. We were pretty close to a swamp or a creek, what used to be a creek and was dammed by farmers because I don't know why, so they can get more land to farm, I think. But the creek ended at our house, or turned into like a little slough or pond. And I threw a lot of little seeds there, and man, did they grow. After they started sprouting pretty high, you started seeing the police helicopters and stuff coming around the res. And I'm like, that's unusual, but there's quite a bit over here.
Yep.
Quite a bit of heat in the woods.
Oh, absolutely. My ex-wife's uncle, he planted a bunch of weed plants in his parents' garden, and they were growing corn. So he just like planted some seeds at the back and was like, tee. And sure enough, you know, the crop worked. All worked out. He had some homegrown weed, right? These days now, everyone can do it. And it's all like, oh, whatever, you know, you're growing weed. What strain are you growing? But back then, you know, like he's probably got 15, 20 years on me. So back then, like he was a master fucking criminal.
Yeah. You were freaking like a joy getting caught with that when you're driving was like, the death sentence almost.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not, you're not gonna die. You're gonna live forever in jail, like for weed. And like it that just pisses me. Like I don't even smoke weed. It's not that I don't do drugs. I'm just, as you know, I'm terrible at fucking weed. It's one of those drugs that if I smoke weed, I'm like, goo.
Yeah. I had the intensity of getting raided a couple of times in life. And with luck, they did not find anything.
Excellent.
And boy, did I get mouthy. I was a young mouthy kid with the cops. And then after, like, I had this enemy. There was this blonde cop in Punachai, and she just did not like me at all because she wanted to. She knew I was up to something, but she could not prove it.
Yep. And that is
wasn't up to anything.
But that's where you see the character of a cop. You know, the theoretical good cop. And I'm sorry if you're a police officer watching, but you know, you made a bad career choice. But like that idea that like, I know you're up to no good, so I'm just, you know, gonna ruin your life until I prove it. Like sometimes you're wrong, motherfucker. Like I regularly in the punk scene, whenever we had altercations with cops, there were like 3 of us that were in a position to sort of step in and be like, hey, what's going on? Mark Russell, because he knew the sort of head of the cops downtown, and his you know, he could sort of speak the language very easily with them. Beardo, because his dad was that guy. And me, because the cops would come, you know, barreling in and like, you know, we're gonna do it. And I'm like, okay, officer, let's talk about what's going on. You know, what's the concern? And they'd very quickly realize, like, you know, this kid looks like shit. but he's danger smart. We don't necessarily want to. Okay, sir. Okay. Is your phone vibrating? That was the weirdest. It just like it was like an alien. Like I was like, did I do
Something vibrating in your head.
But it literally it sounded like ring-getting, ring-getting, and I was like, Mom?
Yeah, the fourth kind is happening.
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah. Russ, my brother,
Come-
I'm gonna end our conversation here. I've got to pee, and I don't want to bring you with me to the bathroom. And clearly, you're getting. I heard that. You're getting some messages or whatever. So I'm gonna cut it here. We will do this again, and as many times as it takes until Dutch O'Bannon Justice Force is released in every fucking major theater worldwide. It'll be amazing. It'll be huge. We'll be legends.
Yeah.
But I did want to say thank you so much. I've had a great time chatting with you. I've missed you, my friend. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
I think that eventually we're going to be able to be like in public with other humans again, and when we do, we're doing some more boxing, brother.
Oh yeah, for sure. More. I even got a boxing bag in the basement here. So
Perfect.
We'll definitely be doing some other catching up to do.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I know I, for one, definitely need to do some boxing.
I can definitely fit my role now as
yeah. Oh,
Chief Big Stone.
All right, my brother. Thank you so much. I've appreciated every second of your time, and I love you, and I hope you take care.
Thank you. Love you too.